Hello, today we will be reviewing the axial musculature. Be careful not to underestimate axial musculature. Some of the terms you will have to know are more challenging than they appear. Some of the muscles of the face are challenging because they have a similar name to other muscles that also appear on the face, sometimes appearing in the same area as well. An example being the zygomaticus minor and the zygomaticus major. They are muscles that are right next to one another. An easy way to remember which one is which is by remembering that muscles that carry the name minor will always be on top of those that carry the name major. They will also typically be smaller than the major muscle. We see that with the zygomaticus minor and major, there are no exceptions to these rules. Another set of the muscles that are easily confused are the orbicularis oculi, which is the muscle surrounding the eye, as well as the orbicularis oris, which is the muscle surrounding the mouth. Both even have a similar appearance, which also lends to the confusion. Try to remember that the oculi means eye or eye-like. Likewise, oris means mouth, much like oral does. In fact, both are derived from the Latin word for mouth, oralis. Next, we will look at some of the muscles for chewing and swallowing. The muscles of the neck are divided into two groups, the suprahyoid group and the infrahyoid group. As you may have guessed, those in the former are all the muscles that are above the hyoid bone, and the latter are those that fall below the hyoid bone. Many of the muscles are named after their attachment sites. For example, the sternohyoid begins at the sternum and ends at the hyoid bone. Some of the more challenging muscles to remember here are the omohyoid and the mylohyoid muscles. These are confusing at first because at first glance, they do not appear to be named in a similar manner to the other muscles. This is actually not true. They are named for their attachment sites as well. For example, mylohyoid is mylo for mandible, and hyoid clearly is for the hyoid bone. This muscle extends from the mandible to the hyoid bone. Additionally, there is the omohyoid. Omo is from the Greek word omos, and it means shoulder. Omohyoid extends from the shoulder, specifically the scapula, to the hyoid bone. The muscles of the torso are mostly straightforward. Some terms that seem to trip students up are the oblique and transverse abdominal muscles. The external abdominal obliques are the most superficial muscles. The muscle striations are also arranged so that they are angled towards the pelvis. This is in direct contrast to the internal abdominal obliques, which are arranged so that the striations are angled towards the sacrum. An easy way to remember this is to cross your arms in front of you. The crossing of the arms forms an X, external abdominal obliques. Internal are opposite to this. Lastly, there is the transverse abdominals. These are not obliques. Obliques means angle. The striations of the muscles are transverse or horizontal. They are not at an angle, so they are not oblique. These muscles are the most deep muscles of the lateral abdominal muscles. Also, be mindful that on the posterior side of the body, we will see several muscles with the name serratus in it. This name is meant to describe the shape of the muscles, which is like a saw blade. There is the serratus anterior, which most people are familiar with on at least a rudimentary level. Then there is the serratus posterior superior muscle. This muscle is located on the upper region of the back, beneath the rhomboid muscles. We know from previous videos that if we have a structure with the name superior in it, we will almost always have one with the name inferior, and that holds true here as well. There are also the serratus posterior inferior muscle. This muscle is located beneath the latissimus dorsi. This should help you understand some of the seemingly dissimilar or redundant terms that are found in the axial musculature. You should have a much easier time digesting the meaty content of lab this week.